Recently, I was involved in an accident, and yes, this was my very first accident. So I was quite new to the accident world, and of course, it's quite stressing. So I've learned a lot from that accident, and I've basically compiled a list. And let me see, one, two, three, four, five. I have 15 things down that you should do within 10 minutes of having a car accident. So you might be beating up yourself and saying, why is this happening? But at the same time, it has happened, and what you do next can make all the difference in the world. So thank you again, guys, for joining me, and of course, thanks for all the new watchers. And please feel free to like, share, and of course, subscribe. So, I'm going straight into my list. All right, number one, remain as close as you safely can to the scene. And trust me, that was very much important. And you see, the first thing you should do is remain on the scene. If you leave, especially if you hit someone, you can be charged with hit and run, and that, of course, carries with it jail time and fines. And next thing you should do, activate your hazard lights. And of course, uh, it not only helps you, but it also warns other drivers they need to slow down as they approach your vehicle. You don't want your accident to lead to another accident, so you really want to ensure that you turn on your hazard light, especially if your vehicle is immobile in the middle of the road. Alright, and next important thing, number three, you need to avoid standing on the road. Very important. And many times you are in an accident, and of course you're so caught up in arguing or taking picture or crying that sometimes you just don't realize the car coming, and yes, you are in another accident or worse, dead. Alright, so next, leave the traffic directions to the cops. So there are many times we are in an accident, and all of a sudden, instead of minding our car's business, we go out and try to direct traffic. And of course, it's not safe, and you don't have the legal right to be doing so. So you don't want to leave your car and go and direct traffic. Leave that to the police. Alright, and next important thing, depending on the severity of the accident, sometimes you really do have to call the police. And when it comes on to figuring out what to do after a car accident, in those first stressful 10 minutes, there's no better resource than the police. So always remember, if you don't see any, feel free to call the police to ask for assistance. And we're going into the important parts now. You need to exchange insurance and other important information. And you see, while you wait for the police to arrive, you should go ahead and exchange insurance information with the other persons involved in the accident. So you need to take the names, addresses, phone numbers, and of course, you need to get all their insurance information as possible. So you need to have your phone take as many pictures as you can, because this is your evidence in court. Alright, also, you want to also keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. So, there are many times we have an impression of how the accident happened, and you see, when the stress subside, you start reliving the crash, and sometimes the initial impressions of the accident are not what they really are. So don't admit fault at the scene. This is something that can be determined at a later date by your lawyer and, of course, the insurance companies. By admitting fault, you may make yourself financially responsible for the accident, whether you're actually responsible or not. So, again, shut up Alright, so the next important thing you need to do uh, during those first initial 10 minutes, take photographs. We all know a picture is worth 1,000 words, and so you need to ensure you take too many. Yeah, it's better to take too many than too few, and you need to ensure you take your pictures from all angles, all scenes, and you ensure you take as much of the damage done and the area around. So yes, take your photographs. Alright, also you also want to take note of the time and weather. The time, date, and weather are important facts in any car accident scenario. The weather conditions can be relevant uh, as to point who was at fault or how each driver was at fault. And when you're trying to remember what to do after an accident, writing these simple facts may help you to organize your thoughts and, of course, your actions. Most importantly, the next thing you must do or must be able to do, but I will always tell you, ensure you have a pen, a piece of paper, and you try and draw a diagram. So don't leave the scene without drawing yourself a bird's eye view of the accident. It can be very helpful in figuring out who was at fault and what the precise nature of the damages are. And in that, you want to include all the street names, the cross streets, the traffic light, any additional information that you know will be important. And of course, think twice before saying, I'm not injured. And we know we have many macho mans out there that when, well, macho men, yeah, that when they're in accident, oh, you know, I'm alright, I just a little backache. No, man. You may not feel injured at the scene, but just like you shouldn't admit fault, you shouldn't say you're not injured. You might actually be injured, but not yet realize it. So it's better to say you're going to seek medical attention, which is our next point. You need to consider getting medical attention. So even if you truly believe you're not injured, you should allow yourself to be checked out by the persons who have greater knowledge than yourself. So go to a doctor and ensure that they check you out, check your abdomen, your neck, and of course, if there are any issues, you can always make the insurance know to put that on your claim. And of course, our next point, be careful who you talk to at the scene. It's horrible, yeah, but true. Some people are professional accident stalkers. And yes, it's a thing. So they arrive at the scene without they arrive at the scene, yes, within those first 10 minutes, and they try to get people involved to be seen by a particular doctor or to sign on with a particular attorney or to get this help or that help. They just come. So don't engage with these runners, and you want to always try to avoid persons that want to give their advice on what to do next. And most importantly, gentlemen and ladies, you need to ensure you call your insurance company. When I was in my accident, the first thing the lady said, don't report it. And I'm like, why shouldn't I? But she didn't want to take responsibility for it, so it was a good thing that I made my formal claim and, of course, gave myself a chance to be reimbursed by her company. And, of course, refuse to talk to anyone else's insurance company yourself. So many drivers who cause an accident later deny fault. By not talking to anyone else's insurance company, you protect yourself from saying anything incriminating that may lead to a conclusion that the accident was your fault. So after the accident, the first 10 minutes, you want to be cool, calm, collected, and of course, start taking your pictures, your evidence once you can, take your numbers, and of course, number one thing, be calm. So, gentle people, thanks for listening to my 15 gems, and I hope you will be safe. Trust me, it's a jungle on the road, especially here in Jamaica, trust me, it takes skill to drive on these roads. So until then, people, remember, share, like, subscribe, and check out my new video when it comes out. And of course, be safe and be good.